Okay, welcome to Akol Podcast, the Voice of Innovations. Today I'm here with Sister Sarah. She's a Pan African's motivational speaker. I'm also here with Ustaz Quals. He's a teacher, he's also a scientist. We are going to discuss a topic, and this topic is going to be: Can South Sudan overcome tribalisms? Exploring the cause, impacts, and solutions. These are the things that we are going to discuss right now. Welcome to a call podcast, the voice of innovation. Today, we are going to discuss one of the biggest challenges facing South Sudan, and that is tribalisms. And tribalism happens when people place strife above national unity, fairness, and humanity. And we can see today in South Sudan, the root cause of tribalism come from historical divisions, political manipulations, competitions over resources, lack of equal development, rebellion conflicts, and leaders who mobilize communities along ethnic line instead of national identity, poverty, unemployment, and weak institutional. Also, this makes communities depend more on tribe for protections and opportunities. The impact of tribalisms are very dangerous. It fuels violence, weaken national unity, destroy trust among citizens. It also discourage investment, delay developments, and also cause discrimination in jobs, leaderships, and services. And many talented young people they always lost opportunities because of tribal division. These are the things that we are going to discuss. I and Sister Sarah and Brother Kwal. We are going to digest this topic so that we find out why do we have tribalisms in South Sudan and what are the causes of this. And I'll begin with Brother Kwal, Albino Quals. He's going to tell us why tribalism is really making trends and is also a biggest challenge to South Sudanese peoples. Brother Kwal, how can we end these tribalisms in South Sudan? You can see that we have weak institutions. We have also a lot of problems happening today, communities fighting themselves. We have also many conflicts, as you can see. And you can see that we have people also taking arm and they want also to protect themselves rather than the government protecting them. It is really challenging to see such scenarios happening in the South Sudan today. So, what are the causes of tribalisms, Albino Kwal? Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator, Mr. Akol, again, and to all the viewers of the Akol Podcast. Greetings to all of you. Um, you have heard my name before. I'm Albino Paul. I'm a teacher. I'm also a scientist, and at the same time, I'm an advocate for peace in South Sudan. So, to begin with, tribalism in South Sudan uh, is becoming too much nowadays. And all of us, we are witnesses of tribalism. But let me first begin with the root causes of tribalism. The root causes, some of them can be linked back or traced back to colonial era or colonial period. Uh, During colonial era, it happened that some colonizers used to favor some ethnic groups and neglect other groups. And that when they use it intentionally to make sure that Africans or African tribes must not come together. So they favor one group and they neglected the other group. When that thing happened, the neglected group, which do not have equal opportunities like the other ethnic group being favored by colonizers, they feel bad, they feel bad. And when they feel bad, they take a very bad decision. Not against the the instigators, but against the group that is being favored. They feel like their suffering is because of that group. Okay. And I can give you an example using Rwanda. Around 1913, if I'm not wrong, the colonial uh, power at that time first favored a tribe called Tutsi. Okay. And the other two tribes, Hutu, plus the other one, were neglected. They were ignored. They were not given equal opportunities. But only Tutsi was favored. Because of that, Hutu was not happy. And as a result, they rise against Tutsi. You see? And around 1950, the colonial power changed its mind. Okay? And it started favoring Hutu and neglected Tutsi again. You see? So meaning they did it intentionally. Okay. And because of that division that was created by the colonial power, it led to the genocide 1994 in Rwanda. Okay. So the same thing happened in Sudan before South Sudan. Okay. There were some ethnic groups in northern Sudan who were favored, given everything, neglecting other ethnic groups in Sudan during colonial era. That thing also caused tribalism because those who were neglected were not happy, and they started, you know, organizing themselves, and attack those who were favored, not knowing that they are innocent because there is someone behind all this. You see? So this is one of the root causes of tribalism. Number two, we have political influence or manipulation. Some politicians, let me say, almost in the whole of Africa, uh, politics has lost its direction. Some politicians, maybe due to the fear, they they started tribalizing politics. You know, in order for them to get support from their tribal background, instead of nationalizing politics, they tribalize it. Okay, like when someone is removed from his or her position, then he or she can just run to his community and tell them that I have been removed and this position belongs to you. So in order for this position to come back to you, you have to do 1, 2, 3. And those 1, 2, 3, of course, conflict will not be far away from one of those. Okay. So political influence also has upper hand. Okay. Um, Number three, insecurity. The insecurity that we have in South Sudan, even during Sudan time, insecurity was there. When you are insecure and the government is not able to protect you, what comes to your mind is, to find a way of protecting yourself. So some tribes, they decided to take their security on their shoulders. Okay. And again, instead of protecting themselves from the fear of unknown, they started, attacking other communities which are even innocent. You see? So this is number three. Number four, which is the last, is lack of equality to opportunities. Okay? You know, all of us, we know there is no equal, there is no equality or equal um, opportunity given to South Sudanese. Opportunities are given based on tribal lines or ethnic background. And because of that, those who are not given the right, then they begin now to be against the other people who are favored, you know. So these are some of the things that cause tribalism in South Sudan. Coming to the second part of the question, you asked on how to solve the issues of caused by tribalism. One of the way forward is to distribute resources equally. Okay, when you give resources equally, then people now will begin to feel because the government is giving them their right. Okay, and when people are given opportunities, okay, based on merit, so they will not be against the other tribe. Of course, they will enjoy their what? Their opportunities or their resources. Okay. Number two, tribalism needs to be stopped by the government by doing two things. One, there should be what is so-called national identity. For example, in Rwanda, the government of Rwanda after 1994 genocide came up with one of the resolutions that there should be no tribal identity, but rather national identity. Okay, so if the government do that and impose it, then tribalism will come to an end. Like for us, we do call ourselves South Sudanese, but sometimes that thing to other people it comes after their tribe. They are too loyal to their ethnic group than the country itself. But in other countries like Rwanda, people are loyal first to the country and then second to the community. Okay. Number two, the national identity, whereby we shall call ourselves South Sudanese. And then there's no more question. Where do you come from? You need to be legalized. Okay? You need to be legalized. When it is annexed into our constitution, then now the law enforcement agencies will take it from there and begin to enforce. Okay? So by doing so, uh, those with big heads, those who are rigid, okay, the law will deal with them. And those who can listen, of course, will go to the law. Back to our youth. Youth can also help in bringing to an end tribalism. Most of the youth are educated, okay, and they know the impact of tribalism, okay. Because we, the youth of South Sudan, we are not supposed to be the victim of the mistake done by our fathers, forefathers, and 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 our current parents. We should not be the victim of such mistake. We have to begin on our own. After all, we are going to remain here, and our fathers and forefathers, they are likely to live. So we need to build our own way of living, okay? Instead of picking it up from our parents, the mistake that they made. So we have to refuse that one. And in one of the books that I read, Seed of Unity, uh, there is where the author, I think maybe he read the mind of the youth, that the youth that reject heat, okay, the youth that reject heat. That means we, the South Sudanese youth, we don't want to hate ourselves anymore. Okay, we have to love ourselves. Okay, so you can also play that role. Another one, you can also be engaged in, beautiful activities like sport, cultural festivals. These activities, they bring people together. Okay, and by repeating them, eh, with the support from the government, such activities can unite people. And we have seen recently when Pujilo community conducted their cultural festival. We have seen almost all South Sudanese in Juba, they went there and they were celebrating. These are things that need to be encouraged, at least to bring people together. Okay. Yeah. Um, Lastly, our parents, they also have a great role to play. Why? Because they are the first teachers. Since they are the first teachers, they have to teach children respect to others, respect to other tribes. Okay. And by doing so, they will now grow when having in their mind that this community is not bad. It's
But
a good community.
but Albino, let me just ask you this, because you said also our parents should also be a midpoint of teaching the kids on how to grow up and how also to respect other community. But we have seen there's one thing we are seeing, there is no interaction between these communities. Like I'm from a will and somebody from Yambio, so there is no link that will let me connect with these people. So how can parents also know that there are other community outside there?
Okay, thank you so much. Currently, the world of today is the world of technology. Okay, and since it is the world of technology, of course, one can just make a research, okay, about that community and come and teach your children about the good thing of that community. Okay, and in cities like Juba, there are very many communities there, including the areas that you have mentioned. If South Sudan Cultural um, Festival is organized and conducted annually, of course, some parents will know other communities from there. That is one of the forums. Okay. And you can also ask other people who have ever gone there. Like during the liberation time, some people used to, soldiers were, deployed in such areas. You can ask those who have ever gone to those communities to tell you exactly uh, about those communities. And then you pick up from there and you teach your children. Okay. Um, the last part that I want to say is that the curriculum that we have in South Sudan need to be reviewed. And the national identity, peace building, conflict resolution, you know, should be added into our curriculum and has to be taught in the schools. This one will also help, in decolonizing the mind of our young generation and the current youth. So I would like to stop from here, unless there is another question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Albino. Yeah, thank you. You have really digest, and we really need to know what is the cause of tribalisms in South Sudan. And I think you came up with some examples. You also said the reasons why we have tribalism in South Sudan. You also dig it from historical backgrounds on how colonialisms also play great roles in this, and the way they have also empowered communities in South Sudan and then Sudan, so that they should fight among themselves for the resources and also for their own interests, let me say. And colonialism has an agenda, and that agenda, I think it was because for them to have a control over Sudan. That was the main agenda. And for them to control Sudan, then they need to create this hatred in communities so that they don't come together. And there is a need. If these communities came together, then they will also fight the controls. Okay, and that was the scenario played by the oppressors, which is British, let me say, and Ottomans Empire. And I can see that today in South Sudan, let's say in Nilotic, and also in non-Nilotic, you can see there are marks being put on the head, and there are a lot of marks there. So all these things, these are indicators that the oppressors, what they were doing is that they were putting people apart so that people don't come together, because if they come together, they will fight for themselves. That's why you see when you compare the levels of the Sudanese peoples and also South Sudanese, you may find today that Sudan is only centered on those advanced infrastructure. We used to find them only in Khartoum, but you don't find them in other places. You find them in Port Sudan, you find them in Khartoum, you find them in northern Sudan, far north of Halfa and all this. So this indicate that these are the modern civilized communities, and we as a South Sudanese, we were not civilized, and today we are civilized. And we are still coming back with this mindset of our tribal background where we used to fight. And I think you brought an examples of Rwanda as one of it. That is it. Now today in South Sudan, Sister Sarah, we define ourselves based on our identity. And there is one point that brought out by Kwal. Kwal said today in Rwanda, people define themselves based on national identity rather than tribal's identity or ethnic identity. And that thing makes sense indeed. It makes a good sense. Last night, I called for South Sudan government to organize South Sudan Cultural Festival. And that South Sudan Cultural Festival, sometime, it might be bad, of course, yes, for cultural practice to come up, because if they come up, we still define ourselves based on our ethnic identity, but we don't define ourselves as South Sudanese. That thing, it make little bit confusion there, Brother Kuala, because when we say we need, for example, I call for a whole community to organize a whole cultural festival, which defines only a William, and these are Miluet, as people said. Okay, if they play these cultural backgrounds, it means they only play it for themselves, and the other communities, they don't know what is going on and how these people dance. That thing is defining us as Miluet, and it's not defining the other community. And that's why I also have audacity to call government of South Sudan in order to organize South Sudan Cultural Festival. Why? So it is because for the rest of the communities to see how the other community also dance and how they promote the cultural practice. So it is necessary for them also to know, and for us also to expose and see other cultural activities being practiced by the rest of South Sudanese. Is very important. But today we don't find all this. Sister Sarah, I brought this in relation to your book. You have a book which talk about tribalisms, and we have to align it. Qual also has cited one of your statement in the book about seed of unity, and we don't know seed of unity. How is it related to this matter? And we are calling for ethnic cultural festival, like what Fujulu is doing today. Of course, is not good. What Mundare does was not good. What the will do is also not good, because it only focuses on single tribes rather than many tribes, like 64 tribes in South Sudan. So do you support a Will Cultural Festival to be there, and for your local cultural festival, or you support the unified South Sudan cultural festivals? Thank you. Yes, Sarah, we are not getting you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. My name is Sarah James Dude. Here speaking to you today. So, like, you gave me one of the head up question about the cultural, like, organization, like what was happened last time for with Mondari, and it's now ongoing with the Pujulu and proposing if I will could do the same, and if I supported that or if I can be okay with it. Yeah, actually, I believe the tribe, they are our identity, and they play two roles, good and bad. So it's our identity for you not to, you cannot shy away from where you come from, but you cannot put where you come from above more than humanity and forgetting that the other people existed. So I come from this tribe because that's where I was born. I never asked permission to be born there. I cherish it like that's my identity. And also in the other side, we South Sudanese. So like the one thing I would say, okay, it's not a bad thing for them to do because when they do, they invite the communities to participate or not, right? Which is good, but the good one could be like general, like the one you did yesterday. It can be very good to be organized in a national level and bring all the 64 tribes to participate. Either it take 1 week or 2 weeks, and then that'll be very okay. Then just following like this, and then we'll go for 64 years participating because everything is done. Maybe if we say like yearly, one tribe go, or is it two tribe, it will take us more than 30 years for us to achieve, like for us to accomplish all of it, or for all the tribe to participate, which also we should think carefully. Nobody's going to do that. Some of us maybe will die in a short period of time, or anything will happen. You might not be here, and I might not be here. Other people will not. So it's really not okay. The good one is to organize it at national level. All the six support tribe to participate. Either it take 1 month, it will, and will be very okay. It can be done like after 2 years or after 3 years, because it's also need budget. We should look at that. So this is the only little thing I can say. And if there is any other, if you want me to
Good,
add up
good,
about,
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, Sarah. I think you talk about this, and it is true. South Sudan has to look into this matter, and all the ethnic groups in South Sudan belong to South Sudan. And I talk about one thing earlier, that today in South Sudan we have a lot of problems, as I told you earlier, and for us to leave it to tribes to organize this, we might be having some tribe that doesn't have finance to finance this. Do you know that there are some tribes that are not even in the government today? There are some tribes that even they don't know whether a government exists or it doesn't exist. There are some tribes that are not even in Juba here. Okay? مثلا تلقى بس ثلاثة أربعة they are in Juba. But you cannot find some of them, these tribes, these small tribes, some of them are not in Juba. It is very hard for them to organize this cultural practice for themselves. It's really very hard because they don't have finance. And that thing will contribute, it will really contribute into the downfall of this. And this is one of the things that we are saying, that these things need to be practiced, and the practice will not come from nowhere, but it will come from the government. So if the government organize this, then it will be okay. But if government is not organizing it, it will be very bad for us as a South Sudanese. That's why we need to be very keen enough so that we do what is necessary for this. So let's go for a short break, and then we will come back after that. Welcome back from short break, Brother Kwal. Welcome back, and as we are waiting for Sarah, I will give you this 2 minutes discussion so that you answer this question. I have a question here about how do politicians use tribal identity for political gains? I want you to also to dwell on these questions because we have been seeing major politics, and you talk about this in earlier in your discussions. You say that some of the politicians are still using tribal's identity in order to gain their own political agenda. So I want you to dwell on this. How do politicians use it? Okay, how do politicians use tribal identity for their political gains? Do we see the results after they get the positions, or where do we see the results if they are not getting the positions? Thank you.
From the politicians, based on tribal lines. One of the ways the politicians uh, use the tribal identity to gain political position, they deceive their community that if you support me, you know, to be appointed into this position, then I will do one, two, three. They give some promises, like I will build a school, I will build hospital, okay, I will even build roads, a lot of promises. So from there, that community will say, okay, maybe our son is right or our daughter is right. Let's try to support him or her. Okay. Once he or she is given that opportunity, maybe Minister of Finance, maybe Minister of Road and Bridges, or any other ministry, then he or she will not fulfill his promise. You know, this is one way. And some politicians also they use conflict, in order for them to gain position. By creating conflict, they will go and deceive their communities that these people they are against you, okay? And I'm the right person, to stop this thing. Should you bring me in, then this thing will stop. So the community now will, start supporting that guy. If the government fails to appoint him or her, then now they begin to fight, you know, fighting on behalf of their son or daughter, which is not good. You know, politics is about political parties, not about community. Okay. But in South Sudan, it is a different case. It is a different case. Politics, South Sudan, it has been tribalized. Okay. Instead of, playing it at national level according to the international democratic laws, they are afraid because they may lose, support from uh, South Sudanese. And that's why some people resort to their communities, to use the community as a threat to the government, such that the government would give them position in order for their communities not to fight the government. So these are some of the ways some politicians, influence their communities or based on tribal lines.
Thank you.
In addition to that, there is a question you asked Sarah before on whether having organizing a tribal or cultural festival for a certain tribe, whether it is good or not. You know, you have heard from Sarah before that tribe is our identity. Okay, it is within tribe where we find our own language, mother tongue. Okay, it is within tribe where we find our shared values. Okay, so it is also within our tribe where we find uh, mentorship. It is within our tribe where we also grow. You know, so having ethnic cultural group is not that all bad because that one is trying to preserve the cultural identity, is trying to preserve the cultural values, good values, not the bad values. You know, whenever you are doing something, whenever you are doing something, and it is not in expense, it's not in the expense of other people, then it is good. It's not bad. So cultural uh, practices should not be used in the expense of other tribes, but should be used, to bring people together. Okay, that means having your own cultural uh, festival is not bad, but you have to invite all the other tribes, to come and share with you, to come and show their cultural activities also to your tribe. You know, you know, diversity should not be our problem, should not weaken our unity. Diversity should be our strength. It strengthens our unity. We have to share it, okay, our diverse way of doing things by accepting one another, by seeing one another as not a threat. Okay, I cannot be threat to you, and if you are not threat to me, if we take that way, then there will be no problem. While we preserve our what? Our cultural uh, values. So this is what I can add on to what I said before. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Kwal, for these wonderful explanations, and I appreciate that you have this knowledge and you have also this information to educate us about our tribal's identity and why are we not coming together in order to form one national's identity. Today, Sister Sarah, you was having a questions, and I think you still have that questions, but I know maybe network was the issue and all this. So I want you to also to dwell on what I asked earlier. You also put some on that, and I want you also to talk about national identity. How can we build our national identity in South Sudan? So we still don't have national identity today. But how can we build national identity rather than tribal identity? Thank you so much, Sister Sarah.
Okay, thank you once again. Before you ask the question about what are the main cause for tribalism in South Sudan, so I'm very sure my colleague Alvino, he outlines a lot of things before, and I would also like maybe to highlight few things. So to also highlight some of the few things I was also blocked out about my network before. If I might repeat some of the thing that he said, and then you will let me know. So, like one of the main thing that I would say it's political manipulation. Political manipulation. We can see how everything it's been done, and many politicians now use word tribal. No one just come with a very clear picture of what they are going to do and, and what they think they can help the community with. Because I believe in a systematic that where you elect the person to come and serve you, and you, the people who elect that person in, you have a power to take that person out of that position anytime soon if it is not delivering the quality services that you are expecting them to do. So, but it's not happening right now in South Sudan due to not yet, like we haven't transit from the government and we haven't do any election yet. So now, like we're working through the appointees, and only the upper hand have a power to remove such people, and the citizen or the people of the community that you are serving don't have right. So, and we can also look at the competition over resources. Whatever thing is happening now, it's about the resources that it's about the goal, like what happened last time in Korkaltan. It was about the resources. And whatever the war that we're going through today, it's about resources. It's a competition. Whoever wants to grab the power, and this one want the power. That is what we can talk about it. And also, as Brother Paul highlight about the historical like the historical part of it. So I would position this as historical conflict. Um, like how we fought in Sudan to come to that was 21st years and till 2011 that we got the independence of South Sudan. So that one also like I find it like should be a one big reason to keep us together. If we had a common enemy before and then we managed to achieve what we were fighting for, why are we down to destroy it again? So you look at it, and these are the root cause that we have today. We fought for something, we build it, and we sit down also, we are destroying it. So why did we get it first? Like why did we go for it first? Why did we fight for it? Many of us lost their relative, some they lost their fathers and the grandmothers who were killed maybe during but like a lot of people. So you see, like me, my two brothers. So let me say like this is one of the things, and also we can see the poverty. Poverty is playing a huge role in tribal tribal. So you see, when you look at it later, this person is telling you, um, you should maybe you should side with them, and they are down to give food or something like that. You really be down since you look at the opportunities are very limited. There are no opportunities in South Sudan. So everybody survive in a bad or a good way. You don't ever mind as long you get that food. So you don't think twice which way are you getting it. And also when you look at illiteracy in South Sudan. So like yeah, many people went to school, but not many people are open-minded. Going to school does not rule out that you are an educated person. No, that is not the case. Because an educated person know what harm look like, know what a conflict, what can conflict cause you, and also know what what humanity exactly mean. It does not. It doesn't matter whether this person come from your side or not. The fact that they are human being like you sympathize. Education teaches us that sympathy and compromise. These are the things, and also like to let go of something that you don't have control over it, and there's something that we just dwell on, and these are the thing that we cannot do anything. You are being told these people have problem with us. Ask you and who are us. You ask that question. Like, how did you get involved with these people? Like, what is the common ground that caused the problem between you and these people? You should look at that. And that's why I always say, like, I know many people might not like me, and I don't mind stating the fact. You have right not to like me, and it's your also choice to like me. Because if you are put in that position, you getting your salary, you eating them, and then tomorrow maybe you do your a little bit of corruption, and then you hold accountable later when it's found out, and then later you have a voice, a bold, loud voice to say, this specific tribe are against us. Like who are us? Like seriously, you were getting your salary, you were surviving, you were taking your children to wherever they are. So this one, we should look at the situation of. They say always like for a one, I'm one big person who is never entitled for whoever. Like you help me, you don't help me. That is not my point. My point is be neutral. If you are given a national position or a public position, deliver the services. I don't care whether you will come into your office or not. It's none of my business. There's nothing I'm going to get in your office. Deliver the services to the people that who call you to be in that office. So, and the second thing also, it's a weak national identity. So, and all this manipulation and historical conflict and property, everything is mixed, gave us the weak identity. And you look at how many politicians now mobilize people along the ethnic line, and it's to gain power, to gain their own interest, not our interest as a citizen of South Sudan. Because if you look at it later, you go, you die, their kids are in abroad studying, and then you go, you are a small army, you are whoever you think you are there, and then later you fight another poor person like the audacity. I feel like this is illiteracy have a big role in that because if you know there are two nations, a rich and a poor. So you poor are being mobilized to fight against each other. So it's like something that really, really. So while all these things like the mobilization through the ethnic line, and you can see how like the hardship of the economy, the lack of opportunities, it makes citizens like very vulnerable to ethnic division. So you see someone you're supporting. If I see one of my uncle, I say, "Hey, Sarah, do this." I will not hesitate. As long as you give me something, I just don't. Say, yes, it's good. I'm getting something out of it. I have people that I'm responsible for. So if I'm getting something out of this, it doesn't matter whoever I hurt, just go. So you see, that is the case, and this is what actually caused the tribal South Sudan. As we look at it in that angle, and many other point that my colleague highlighted before. And to a second, like a second question, where you say, do political do political leaders contribute to a tribal division? Why or like why or why not? I don't know. Did you say like that before?
Yeah. I said, why are politicians using tribal identity as a way of gaining their own interests?
Good. So, okay, my dear, I would say you look at, yeah, some of politicians or political leaders contribute to tribal division by favoring their own communities in appointment. Like you appoint this person, come from your community, you get the office. Like when there are certain offices that when you go, you only find if the head of the office is this man from this tribe, everybody, all the small offices down, even cleaners, are from the same tribe. And I fail to understand. Let me tell you, one of the things is this. Look at how these political leaders localize our public offices, or like the national position. You can see when one be get appointed in a certain position, there are a bunch of these people from the community. They'll come and celebrate. So that when it shows there is something, there is a pressing issue down there, because this is a public office. What are your people really coming to celebrate for? If there is something, cook your tea at home, drink with your family, with your relative there. But this is a public position. If you know you're not benefiting really, can't you just come like all the people from your community celebrate? Hey, we got our son appointed and this. No, that is a very wrong thing. I always say this is wrong. You don't localize public offices. Yes. You don't have to all localize the public offices. So another thing is also like the distribution of resources. You can look at it. The distribution of resources and political messaging. So instead of them promoting the national identity, some leaders use tribal identity also, like to secure loyalty and political support from other people. And if I'm not wrong, all of you know, you can see the noise in social media always. It is either you depending your uncle, it is either you are depending a person that you benefit for something for. It's only this true. If this person is giving you something secretly, like you supported this, and we always like force the people, hey, this person should be appointed like this. Why? Because you know when they are appointed, you'll be beneficial. And what about the citizen who are suffering, who doesn't have uncle, who does not have a connection of, if you're appointed today, I will be your office manager, I'll be the this sir. How do we plan to deal with these people? Like we are, it's actually happening with youth, our youth which are doing this, not these big other people. So when you look at you, you are depending, you them so much like they went to school and they don't differentiate like white from red. You look at the things. So, and I underestimated such a thought or such a critical thinking. And I always like say youth have a way of bringing this country back to its feet. And we look at how we're being called the leaders of tomorrow. Leader of tomorrow, when you have your kid already, and you are still, where about your kids? Are they leaders of when? So like we should think twice. Like we should really be wise. We let us use our opportunity of this education that we think like we have. We went to school. Let us use it like wisely and correctly.
Okay, I think Sister Sarah, she's having network problem, but yeah, okay, yeah, welcome.
Yeah, as this honorable Queen say, use the
You that lazy. Okay, she might be having technical issues. Brother Qual, I think Sister Sarah was talking about kasertelich, if you can imagine. And Arabic is using these words to yeah, let's say psychopaths. Like this is what we know. And Arabic used to say they kasertelich. Yani itaga kasertelich as well. You know, this is one of the practice that we are seeing in South Sudan, and and it is really intensifying. Let me say, you can see how Facebook floods with a lot of posts and all this. You can see from them. Okay, you see somebody say, "I recommend Mr. X to be appointed as this." You can see some people also, depending people who are in the positions. Okay, we see all this. Yeah, this is really something something bad, if we can say. And I don't know, how can we end this Kassertalik, Brother Kuala? All these things are promoting tribal identity. Let me say they are promoting it, because if you just depend one of your tribe member by saying that he is a leader, he is capable, he is trusted by the president to lead. Okay, you are a man of peace. You are like this. You are like this, and a lot of things. Okay, yani this is beyond. This is beyond really, and this is kasertelich. Okay, and this kasertelich is also now promoting tribalism in South Sudan. Let me tell you, well, how can we end this psychopathy in our community? It is now affecting society. Let me tell you. Yeah. Thank you. How can we end this?
To address a problem, you need to know what caused that problem. Okay. So psychopathy is caused by, you know, economic hardship. Most of the youth, they are not happy. They are not employed. Okay. Be it private sector or government sector, there is no employment completely. So some of the youth, they have seen that maybe in order for them to survive, they have, you know, to choose psychopathy. As I speak with you, psychopathy has become one of the hustling sides, one of the hustling jobs. You know, when you support Mr. X or Y or a certain party, you become a diehard fan of that individual. That guy is going to give you something, okay? And as a result,
but while you would have been practicing this while you are in Juba. Why have you went to Kenya instead of making it here so that you get money? Malu?
you know, what I value the most, what I value the most is what will my legacy and protect it. Okay, you know, there are sources of income which can completely destroy your legacy. Okay, it can help you today, but tomorrow it will be a different thing. And that is why most of the youth who are psychophants are not given any opportunity. They are just there making noise on social media. Okay, but they are not given jobs. They are given something that can sustain them, but it doesn't even last longer. Okay, if you want to support someone, a national figure, you support him or her because he's doing right thing to all South Sudanese. Not only you, not only his community, not only his family. If you look at our politicians currently, most of them, they support only psychophants, they support only family members, they support some few people from their community, not even the whole community. Even our politicians, they went as far as they do appoint their children. They do appoint their children. Imagine, how can you appoint your son or your daughter to be office manager when you are the minister, or when you are under secretary, or when you are
Don't
the
also
director?
forget the brother-in-law. They also appoint
Okay,
their brother-in-law.
so why are you doing that? You are supposed to give that position to another person, okay? At least to benefit, at least to support his family or her family. Because that big position given to you is enough to support your family, be it your in-laws or your bloody relative. That position is enough. to support your family and, you know, and other friends of yours, not to appoint your son or your daughter again. Why? What about our other South Sudanese? It's not fair. Completely, it's not fair. Eh? And some use the abuse there supporting such politicians who are not even fair. They are not honest. They are not transparent. Imagine. There is no integrity completely. So I discourage what is so-called psychophany. If, if your mentor, of course everybody has a mentor. If your political uh, mentor is being attacked somewhere, okay, propagating propaganda against him or against her, you are not the right person to defend him or to make clarification. Of course, that person is working in an organized institution where there is department for communication and public relations. That department is the right department to make clarification in case of any allegation against that political figure. It is not you, not you. If you go and answer it, if anything happens later on, who is going to be blamed in the process of accountability? Who is will you be in position to stand your ground? So we should know our borders. There should be boundaries.
Okay.
Okay, and I discourage it completely. Now, like you are qualified. You are supposed to be employed to go and help government, in the area of your expertise. But because they are not a psychopath, that is what.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, you have said a valid point, and I think they are all correct. So thank you so much for saying all this. And I think some of the peoples here that are following the Call podcast, they are also listening and they are also seeing you visually. And that is the good thing, of course. Yes, one of the things that we brought out this podcast is because to let people aware about our social issues and also to know what are we going through in South Sudan. South Sudan will not come forward if we are not ready for it. And there's nobody that will come from somewhere and make South Sudan to be a better place for us. But it is us, the citizens of this country, will make this South Sudan a great country. We will make it a best country in the world if we listen, if we have listenings, if we also understand ourselves in a way that we are also promoting our national identity rather than promoting tribal identity. Now, Sister Sarah, you have been moving up and down, and we have understood the issues, but there's no problem. We have been dwelling on the causes of tribalisms and why tribalisms is affecting South Sudanese people today. And of course, when we are talking about something, we need also to mind about the causes, then the solutions, and impact of something in society. South Sudanese societies or communities have been going through all this. They have got impact of tribalisms in their blood. So they have got it how tribalisms feel like. They have got also the causes of tribalisms, and they are now working on the solutions of tribalisms. But I think there is no way for them to get a solution until they come together as one people. This is where solution will come. And I want you, Sister Sarah, to dwell on solutions of ending tribalism in South Sudan. We have a lot of recommendation being made to end tribalisms in South Sudan. Let's say in national dialogue in 2018, we have a national dialogue being spearheaded, and there were recommendations made by the South Sudanese, and I think the government of South Sudan is aware of this, and of course there are no implementation of those recommendations, and I know that those recommendations were really made in order to see the views of South Sudanese on how they can govern their country and also how South Sudan can move away from this hostilities and also armed conflicts and a lot of things that we are seeing in South Sudan. So all this they have been recommended that the government of South Sudan has to implement them. But up to now, it is now almost 8 years in making, but we are not seeing any recommendations being implemented. We have a peace agreement being signed twice now. We have the peace of 2026. I mean, the peace of 2015 that was broke up by UN and IGAD. We have also a peace process mediated by the Sudanese and IGAD as well in 2018. That is the Khartoum Peace Agreement, which brought all the opposition to Juba. And I think now our axis is now moving in coma. Let me say it is about to collapse, and we are not seeing whether it is collapsing or it is moving forwards. And I don't know how can we end tribalism since we have all these challenges. South Sudan has been put under the pressure. The moment that it need to rise, sometime it is down because of all this problem that we are seeing. So what will be that? What are we going to do as a South Sudanese peoples in order to end this tribalism in South Sudan, Sister Sarah? And I will give you the floor. Thank you. Unmute yourself.
Sorry. So, thank you so much for this question. You know, for tribalism like to be ended in South Sudan, it's not going to happen like overnight. It will take process, like it will take us ages to achieve that. Why? We need the inclusive governance, education awareness, and all these things. No one else will come out of the blue to come and do them. Once government say we want to end this, they will do it. I'm telling you, they will absolutely do it, even one day. But if they do not want to end it, it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to happen until, even if, yeah, I wrote a book about it. That is the seed of unity, ending tribalism in South Sudan. But does not guarantee it's going to end just because Sarah have written a book. No, it's not going to end. So this is, government have authority, like have a high authority to end it and to keep it. How do they end it? Is when the government is inclusive, ensure the fairness, presentation of all the ethnic group in government or even institution. Avoid also like the favorism in appointment, also the resources distribution, and also political powers, as you can see how things are going. Also like to create like a constitutional safeguard against exclusion and also marginalization. Since you talk about it before, there are some tribes that are not even in government. What is that? Is marginalization that our government never liked from Sudan before, and that's what pushed them to fight for, like to fight for this independence. It's about political marginalization. It was not about the citizen, that the citizens were not okay in Sudan. That was not the reason why we fought for Sudan. We fought for Sudan because of political marginalization. Because the big politicians were not given opportunity to a highest position. And for them to achieve that, it's for them to have their own country. It was never about the citizen well-being. So number two, I talk about the education and awareness. To promote national identity over tribal identity in school public campaign. Also like the teach history that emphasize unity. There should be that. And these are not the book that we get from West. There are some books that need to be like to be included in the syllabus. Our own book talk about our history, talk about how we want to be united, not about how others want us to be united. Because everybody want interest always, except the one within. You are neutral. Your interest is to be safe. Your interest is to be together. Your interest is to, when you sleep, you don't think about what if the gunshot come this way? What if this thing? So nobody sleep naked in South Sudan. And when you go to other like other country, people sleep naked anyway. So you cannot achieve that in South Sudan. So this is one thing we can do, and also share struggle and a common achievement. Encourage you to exchange across region to break the stereotype. You know, like if the government can organize to, please, you close this one. So if the government have a certain not government, by the way. Yeah, it's government, but in voice of youth. There's youth platform. They call youth what in South Sudan. There's a leader for youth is there. So these people they should look at it and then also arrange the trip. You know, in South Sudan you can use bus and then arrange the trip whereby you can get 5 different tribes to go to a certain state and go. They stay there. They observe people. They should be able to write report what have they seen there, what is good, and about what they had last time and what they experienced. What are the different? This analysis like can be made by youth and can be done. I'm very sure like youth can do something. This is one thing that they can do. So and also like the economic can see the economic equity to address the like the inequalities in resources allocation, like oil revenue, land, the job, and also investment infrastructure, the services across the region, not just in the capital, because now people dwell so much in the capital city, and there are other town that can also be a very good space for other businesses. But see now the stereotype is tell you when you go to that region, hey, people are very bad. They are very hostile. They can kill you. They can do you this. We need to see things. We don't need to be told things. We need to be the one telling people what we have seen in the ground. South Sudan is not big. Like it's not like coming from South Sudan to Kenya or Uganda. You can move across all the 3 regions. There are 3 regions, South Sudan. So this is one thing, and it will help so much. And also like empower local communities with development projects that's benefit everyone. This is one thing where what we can how we can end the tribal in South Sudan. They also like peace building and mediation. Many people talk about it. My brother Paul have a platform whereby they talk about peace building, and so that one it can strengthen the grassroots like the committee that involve elders, women, youth, to also use the like when I believe the 2018 agreement, there were a proposal that made by women, South Sudanese women, that like if they are going to if the first vice president and the president were going to sign the agreement, that there should be people need 2 big cow, like white bull, 2 white bull, one to represent the president and the other one to represent the first vice president. So they are, and like sometimes the tradition reconciliation practice are very effective more than what we see today. And so I don't know whether to put it in this way, but let me just be straight. So say there should be like they should select these two bulls, and that is our local swearing in, our local agreement. That's how they do it. So the 2 people they say no. When you slaughter this one, they say like this blood represent this. If one do this, the blood of this like abandon the Witiran. So they say no, they don't want that. They
Okay.
both say, yeah, they both say no. That was peace, like the 2018 agreement. The first vice president and the president say no, they don't want that. And people say no. So why? They know like they were not going to be loyal to their things or something like that. I don't know about that much, but that can be the things. So they say no, and it didn't happen. So that is like for us, like to use the traditional reconciliation practice alongside also the modern mediation. Because modern mediation, you can bribe someone. By the way, if you have money, you can bribe someone. Everything is about interest. We should know that, and also encourage dialogue between communities to resolve dispute before the escalation. Like what happened last time in
Uh, I think Sarah she still has issues. Well, we are 1 hour and 15 minutes live since, and it is now time for us to end these programs. And we have been exhausting this issue of tribalism in South Sudan. So we came to solutions, and Sister Sarah has been recommending a lot of things. And one of it is to accept ourselves that we are a South Sudanese, or one. The other one is also is representation in the government, because in her book, I think she talked about that there should be representations in government of South Sudan, like appointing and all this. And because of that, then we should accept ourselves, and the other tribes may also see themselves in the governments being represented, and this will also end tribalisms, let me say. And of course, tribalisms here in South Sudan has become one of the major factor that is contributing a lot, rather than the vision of South Sudan. And I will give you only 1 minute because we want to end the programs. I want you to give you 1 minute. So it's as a peace buildings experts, I want you also to talk about this. How can we end these problems of tribalisms in South Sudan? And why is it important for us to end these tribalisms in South Sudan? Thank you. If you can make it short.
And all the viewers. Uh, yes, as I said earlier, that if you want to solve a certain problem, you need to know the root causes of it, okay, and the risk factors. So we have already exhausted all the root causes of tribalism in South Sudan. And also, we went as far to talk about the solution to the root causes of tribalism. But briefly, let me just highlight the the impact or the cause of tribalism. I think that question was not asked. So one of the impact of tribalism, of course, we have seen now there is communal conflict all over South Sudan, with the exception of few, states without communal conflict. So that communal conflict is caused by tribalism, you know, trying to do something good to your people in the expense of other people. Okay. So that conflict, it causes destruction. Okay. Loss of life. You know, properties are destroyed, properties are looted, cattle are raided, and so many things. Also, people are denied opportunities based on tribal lines. Like if in a certain ministry, maybe the minister is from the tribe X, and the other employee who is also qualified is from tribe Y, then that person will be denied opportunity. So these are some of the impacts of tribalism. Now, what is the way forward? One, our government should improve security sector by, you know, reforming the security. Okay, how to reform the security is like there should be unified army whereby all the tribes are represented. Okay, like for example, we can say in each and every state we need at least 100 or 200 or 300 youth to join the army. We need another 200 to join the police. We need another 200 or maybe 100 to join national security. You know, by doing so, everybody will see that he or she is represented or his group is represented. Okay, and from there, he will not have any problem again. Number two, our government should create, employment opportunities. Okay, because when security is improved, then the next move is to create more job opportunities for the youth who have been engaged in, conflict related issues to, to divert their attention to opportunities. Of course, no one will leave his or a job to go and, and raid someone's cattle. No, you will continue doing your job. Okay, and when you are doing your job, you are making a lot of money. You will even fear death. But when you are below red line, okay, a poverty line, know that death is even better. If God helps you, maybe you will go and survive, and then you take someone's property, come and support yourself, which is not good. So there should be creation of more job opportunities, be it from government sector or from private sector.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. The last thing that I want to say is that we South Sudanese, especially youth, we are not supposed to be the victim of the mistake made by our ancestors. Those mistakes, we are the right people to correct them. We are not supposed to continue practicing made by our grandparents. No, it's not right because it is affecting a lot. It's affecting us. And we are the one to remain in this country, to continue, taking care of our country. So we should avoid those problems created by our ancestors and start building new things that will benefit all of us as South Sudanese. And to our politicians, please, we the youth, we are tired. We are almost finishing because of your mess that you have created. Can you please stop this political manipulation based on tribal lines? This is my request from our politicians. Stop this. It's not good completely.
Thank you.
And to the communities across South Sudan, we are not the problem. Our problem is this tribalism. That is our enemy. We should fight it together. Our second problem is poverty in South Sudan. We should fight it together. Our third problem is poor governance, and we should fight it together. These are the three enemies that we have. We are not enemies to each other. So I think we stop from here.
Thank you.
And thank you for.
Thank you. This is Albino Kwal. He is a peace building expert. He's also a teacher and a scientist, as I told you earlier. And that is simple introduction about him. You have heard a lot from him that tribalism was inflicted as a man-made, and it is not from our forefathers and all this. So we just got tribalisms here. We as a Sudanese, but we don't know now, we people who born just in the middle of 90s or 1,000 years up to 2011, we are Sudanese. But South Sudanese, these are the peoples that were born in 2011s upward. These are the real South Sudanese. But for us, we are Sudanese. So we have this practice, and since we have been doing it as a Sudanese, but we need a South Sudanese, the new generations, the one which is coming up now. So we need them also to move forward with this life. They want also to see South Sudan a better place. So please, Kwal is backing the communities, he's backing politicians, he's backing also the youth. And these are the stakeholders of peace building. There are no more stakeholders rather than politicians, communities, and also the youth of this country. And that's why he's telling you to shun tribalisms. Don't even promote tribalisms, but promote national agenda. This is what he has been saying. And this will bring us to the end. And I will give Sister Sarah only 2 minutes or 1 minute to say something. And then we end up the programs so that we see other issues as well. Sister Sarah, You are highly welcome. And I think you was having some item on the table that you want to discuss. We are now in solutions of tribalism. How can we end tribalism in this country? Kwal has proposed a lot of things, and we have heard some of them. Though you were disconnected and established the connections, you was also following it. So what are the solutions that we can do in order to end tribalism? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. To make it brief, I am very sure I highlighted a lot of things. I talk about the inclusive governance. I talk about education and awareness. I talk about economic equity. I also talk about peace building and mediation, where we can use the traditional mechanism. And I did talk about uh, also like a civil society and women leadership. It can also be a one big tool to use to help us, like support civil society organization that advocate for nationality and inclusivity. We also elevate women role in peace building as they often bridge divided at the community level. So this is one thing we can use, and also protect activists and mediators from the political, like from the political manipulation. Yeah. So these are one thing we can use, and we also have a national symbol or the share identity, promote culture, visual, like we talked about it before. So like to exactly like how you uh quoted yesterday. I read that, though I haven't shared yet. I was going to like that one is a one big thing that we can do, that is bring us together. That is our shared identity, and that is the national symbolics symbol. And also like sport art that celebrate diversity, develop narrative of South Sudan first rather than a tribal loyalty. We also use media to highlight stories or collaboration across the ethnic line, like the one you're doing right now. This is the very, very good starting point. This is one we can use. So like the one for artists, these artists sing from the other community and they don't belong to that community. All these are the one that we can use. So that's how I highlighted the art that celebrate diversity. It's not the one that praise whoever was appointed. That yeah, you come like this, you are a good man. You did not see the services yet, and he's already a good man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so thank you. And also like
Uh,
so in short, let me share, in short, like travel can be reduced when governance is fair, communities feel included, and also people see themselves as part of one nation rather than divided group. It's also like not about erasing identity. I talked about it before. I say our tribe are our identity, but they are not above us. Yeah, but about ensuring that identity does not become a weapon of division. So this is one thing I can say. Unless us come together as the citizen of this beautiful nation, we have a lot of beautiful thing that can attract others people to come see. Think like this one thing of organizing the culture festival, like even people from other very far African countries can come to attend that. It's about unity. It's unity. So this is one thing that I can say can add in on this, and that is that is all. And thank you for having us here, and thank you for our fellow South Sudanese who are listening to us, and to whoever does not like the topic. Sorry for that, but this is the reality. We have to see facts the way they are. It's not about how it's going to please others and all this. We just need to be realistic and look forward a way to shape this beloved country of ours. So thank you so much, and
Thank you.
see you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sister Sarah. Thank you so much, Albino Kwal. And I hope that we shall meet next time when we are going to arrange another topic. And has been a great topic that we are discussing. So bye bye from now, and I thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Albino Kwal, he's a speech expert and he's also a teacher. and scientists as well. And we have been talking about tribalisms. And our sister, the author of Seed of Unity, has really digest the issues that we need to do in this country so that we end tribalism. Tribalism has been one of the filler that is now orchestrating the conflicts and all the armed conflict in South Sudan that we are seeing today. They are being promoted by tribalisms, and it's because of tribalism that why we have all this matter. And that's why Akol Podcast is trying always every day to bring more people's intellectuals so that we discuss on how to end tribalisms in South Sudan and how South Sudan can experience a better atmosphere of the future generation that will come after these generations. And I've been talking about South Sudanese who are born in 2011. These are the original South Sudanese. But we who were born just earlier, we are not the South Sudanese. We are the Sudanese. But we need also to work very hard in order to protect these peoples, the real South Sudanese. We need to protect them. We need to make the environment to be good for them so that they come up with it. So, Sister Sarah, I really thank you a lot. And Brother Kwal, I thank you so much. And we are ending the programs right now. Bye bye, and we shall meet next time. Thank you, guys. And also for people who are following Akol Podcast, we really thank you for coming. We really thank you all for tuning in into Akol Podcast, the voice of innovations. And I think if you have anything that you want to discuss, or anything that you want to present in Akol Podcast, or you have an advert, please, you need to text me on Facebook. You need also to call me directly on 092 44 time 927, or you can just see down there the scrolling text. You can see the numbers and the locations where a call podcast is located. So you can just come, or you can just call us, or you can just email us, or you can just WhatsApp our account, and we will get it, and we will also respond back to you. So Call Podcast is the voice of innovations, and these innovations is to see South Sudan progressing very well. South Sudan progressing in terms of media. South Sudan progressing also in good society and all the things that we need South Sudan to be. So thank you so much for following the Call Podcast, and thank you so much for supporting it immensely. Bye bye from now.